Ah, yeah, laisse tourner le son. Ah, où sont les sourires au pied de nos...
It's a non-profit vegan soup kitchen. We serve a 4-course vegan meal. The idea behind the service of being vegan and whatnot is not only that it's cost-effective and easy to meet health standards with food that you don't have to keep cold or hot. People with all different kinds of political stripes can participate in the food service without crossing their own barriers. Yeah, so the idea behind the project is mostly anti-poverty, but it's also about social and environmental justice. So aside from our regular service, we have a no questions asked food thing. And then we also have a series of educational workshops that are based around food. So on anything from like kombucha to growing their own sprouts or how to make spice blends, this kind of thing. Bread. What'll happen is like around 11:30 people will start lining up here, and the line will coil all the way around this floor. Sometimes it pops out on the side. It's about 300 to 500 people every day. We try to create a space that's hate-free or anti-oppressive, so that means trying to uproot issues of privilege and oppression, looking at homophobia or racism or sexism, try to call it out in the kitchen, because a lot of spaces that's like the status quo. We get most of our food from a group called Montreal, who does the distribution of all the food banks on the island of Montreal. And so we go there twice a week to pick up donations. We also purchase our bulk vegetables from them as well. And so our service costs, like the food itself probably costs about $20,000 to $30,000 a year to make. Now is the most ideal time really to have volunteers in the kitchen help with preparation. There's almost no volunteers here presently. By about 11, it starts to get hairy. All the students flood in, and the idea would be half of you would be working on carrots, chopping them into small pieces for potatoes. The other half would work on bagging rice and grain for our regular things.
We are tearing the ends and brown spots off of green beans right now so that they can put them in the vegan sloppy joes. Or serve them with the vegan. They're putting them in the stew. Yeah. Not in the sloppy joes.
The beans are the sloppy joe. So there's some sloppy joe.
There's a greenhouse on the 13th floor where they grow microgreens and also plants for like sale two different times a year. And they also do a lot of like urban agriculture workshops and that kind of stuff. But we have a really good relationship with them. We're doing similar environmental justice.
Yeah, we call this the atrium and the tea atrium, and what this is like the public kind of like social space. These guys that we're interrupting right now are all hanging out up here, drinking tea, eating lunch, doing their studies, doing whatever. Basically, our mission is to promote urban agriculture and food security, and we try to address it at a bunch of different levels. And so this is like a very low cost entry into this. Like you can just come and hang out up here and just enjoy being around the plants. We're a collective model, we're a non-hierarchy collective, and we have a board of directors. We're registered as a not-for-profit with the Quebec government. And we get about 3/4 of our funding come from a student fee levy. Are you familiar with that? Yeah? Yeah? Just like all the students, they all, yeah. They pay 12 cents for each credit. There are 3 credit systems, so most students take 12 to 15 credits a semester. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's where we get a bunch of our funding, and then the other parts of it come from, we sell food, some of our workshops cost money to attend, and we write a lot of grants to the government to keep it open.
So right now you're just growing plants. Is there food being produced up here?
Yeah, I'm going to show you. We're going to walk down that way, and I'll show you all the other projects. Like this is, I think we have, what do we have? We have an atrium, the workshops, house plants, City Farm School, and 4 Seasons Growing. So we have 5 projects to kind of operate. This room is houseplants. This is one of the projects that we run all the time. Paul, you won't meet him because he's really shy, but he's in the office. And he basically coordinates volunteer sessions, I think twice a week. And people just drop in and help them to grow grow all these houseplants. So the City Farm School project that's what I coordinate. It's been running for 5 years. I was a student in it the very first year, and then I started working with the coordinators in the second year. And it's a project that the past collective of the greenhouse was very small and very underfunded, and they were having I heard tales of in one day 22 people coming up and being like, can you help me plant my garden? Can you help me learn how to grow vegetables? This kind of thing. So they decided to get some funding, put together a 5-day training. They hired farmers, they hired horticulturists, they hired all these food security experts to come in and teach for 5 days straight. Sort of like a crash course and all you needed to do. Marcus, the other guy, he was coordinating the first year. Then him and I started talking, and he was like, yeah, the 5-day thing is great because a lot of people can participate. They had there was 40, 50 people that took it. He's like, but then we're all just kind of on our own when you're actually trying to make your decisions in the garden. And both of us had just experienced that. And it was so stressful. There's one time, I live in the north end, and my garden was right down by the water in the south end. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning because I had a nightmare that my cabbage had all been eaten by these certain bugs, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I hopped on my bicycle and rode down to the garden with a flashlight and was just checking it out. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have access to those people who had taught me earlier. And Marcus had the same kind of things, sleeping overnight in the garden to keep the squirrels away. So we came up with the idea to stretch out those 5 days over 8 months. So then we started bringing in farmers once a month to come and teach, and then hands-on in the garden, working together, all all novices, learning collaboratively. And at that time period, the whole year. So then when you learn about the aphids that are going to eat your tomatoes, you're going to hear from the farmer, and then maybe a week later it's going to arrive, so it's fresh, right? So that's what the City Farm School is now. That's what we do. We're not certified because we can't be because of our location. City zoning doesn't allow for farms to be on a university campus for one, and downtown. So for fertilizers, we add a lot of compost. We go through an amazing amount of compost all the time, and then we use organic bone meal and blood meal, kelp, limestone, fish emulsion, algae emulsion, crab meal, and then we make some of our own too. All those ones that I just said, it sounds horrible and the vegans hate it, but for me it's okay because all those things, the bone is cow bones ground up, but it's all the industry that produces that for us collects the waste stream from slaughterhouses and that kind of thing, and we work with the ones that only work with organic slaughterhouses. So it's a landfill diversion. It takes it, instead of going to the landfill, it comes here and it grows food. And for pest control, we do a lot of just looking and squishing them with our hands, a lot of that. And then we also will use basically dish soap, just the dish soap. You put a couple drops of dish soap into water, maybe a little cayenne pepper too, and some chrysanthemum flowers, and distill that. And then we spray that on the plants, and what happens is the dish soap, when it, how dish soap when it dries, it gets it's sticky and then it cracks. So it sticks to the insects on their exoskeletons, and then when it cracks, it busts them open too. And then they don't like it and they leave. Kind of the plan.
You make me smile, and in a little while, I don't have no more tears to cry.
I got myself.
And a bit of a pickle. Get it? Because they're cucumbers.
108.